So starting off, the first product we're going to focus on tonight is the Lely Discovery. So what it is, it's a robotic slurry scraper. So it basically goes around the yard, 3-foot scraper on wheels, and it covers a number of routes per day with the aim of pushing the muck through the slats. So it works best, or it's best suited to predominantly slatted floors. You can have up to 16 pre-programmed routes, and works really well with crossovers, with awkward yards and tricky yards. But obviously we would have to do a site visit to confirm that it's suitable for your yard, and obviously we've guys on the road who focus on that. There are two options. There's a standard machine, and then there's the Lely Discovery water, which sprays a litre of water every minute as it does its round. Most of the robotic scrapers we've installed are to replace existing systems that may have worn out, or for one reason or another the client mightn't have been 100% happy with. Where the robotic scraper really gains fans over the traditional systems is you don't have a situation where you have a big pool of slurry being pulled down the passageway, which may spread lameness and other health issues. You don't have the situation where the cow can walk on the scraper or on the rail in the middle and maybe injure her foot or hurt herself. It also means when you don't have rails and ratchets and ropes and pulleys in the yard, it's an awful lot easier to drive in with a machine, with a tractor, with a loader, if you have a downer cow, which can happen, any of us. So there are some of the things that our customers like about it. You can prioritize the routes that have the most traffic, and you can focus on the areas where will be getting soiled more than others. What a lot of customers will claim is, because they now have a lot cleaner floors, that they have less lameness. They'd also find it's easier to keep the cubicles clean, and many would report lower cell counts and less mastitis. And cows look cleaner as well, which looks good. Here you see the product in operation. A lot of people love the fact as well it's good for the dead end passageways, the short passageways that might not justify a ratchet scraper or a road scraper. You can go in at the heel of the cubicle very, very regular, makes it an awful lot easier to keep the cubicles clean. And mentioned already, you can do the crossover points. You can also have the facility to do winter routes and summer routes. So you may actually have the cubicle area closed off over the summer, so you can maybe have the Lely Discovery working in a smaller area and more frequently in the high traffic areas, and no point in sending it down the cubicle passageways if they're closed off. So there you see an example of the type of job it does. There is a little rubber on the scraper that would need to be replaced maybe twice a year. So as long as that's in good order, it does an excellent job. And what you want to do is you want to lose the muck after a period of time over the slats, either into the tank or into a channel. The water Discovery is an option that's selling very well for the last couple of years. And the benefit of it is it's spraying a litre of water every minute as it does its round. So it would work well in sheds that are very open, very ventilated, and may have found, especially over the summer months, that the yard is getting particularly slippy. So the water feature softens them up, gives you better cleaning in the yard that's very exposed or very ventilated, or it's prone maybe to drying out quickly. And we'd have a lot of customers that are zero grazing, for example, and they would have the water Discovery in and will be very, very pleased with its performance. So that's a general introduction of the Lely Discovery and the Lely Discovery water. What we're going to do now is, before we go on to any of the other products, we're going to show you a short testimonial video from Longford dairy farmer Mervyn Glendenning. So Mervyn has a Lely Discovery in almost 9 years. So we're going to watch a little short video and he'll tell us about his experience.
Mervyn Glendenning is my name, and I come from Longford, here on the outskirts of Longford town, and I milk 110 cows. I got the Lely Discovery, we reckon it's about 8 or 9 years ago, and it's a wonderful article. Saved a good 35 minutes every morning and evening milking, and it scraped the cows down. It's all slatted. in 2 sheds. It covers roughly 115 cubicles. That's what it was. It was getting time consuming when I was milking. I used to go up and down the slats with a hand scraper, and it was anything but simple. And more so if you were feeding a dry total mixed ration, it was a disaster altogether. The manures were firm and it was hard work now. So we decided that we go for, there was no Lely Discoveries much going at the time, but I happened to go down to a Michael Cadam down in Cavan, and I seen his and I was very impressed with it, and that convinced me to, and I never was sorry. It was a wonderful article I got around the yard. It was, took the whole arch about, cows were far cleaner coming into me milk because they were being scraped every couple of hours. As I said to you, it was going 6 times in the day. There's never a day, but they're spotless, the slats. I had slats in the other shed before I built this one, and it was still had to be scraped with a hand scraper. So when we built this one, that was putting another twice as much work on top of me, and I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to do 2 sheds with a hand scraper. So there had to be some option got, some sort of a scraper got. So when I got at the start, I was nervous. I was saying, oh yeah, this is going to, if anything goes wrong with, then I'm not great at computers. I'm absolutely no good. My wife Iris, she does all that. I thought it'd last about maybe 6 years and then have to replace it. But no, that's not when I keep it serviced. And Lely have good men servicing it too. They have, and they're very thorough and very obliging as well, and very helpful to explain things to you that you'd like to know about. It's in 8 or 9 years, and I can't see why you couldn't go another 8 or 9 anyway.
Thanks very much, folks. Thanks for your attention. Delighted to introduce Conor Clark. He's one of our senior engineers. I know he looks like a young fella, but he's almost 7 years experience with Lely Mullingar. Very well trained, very well educated, one of our experts in farm robotics and automation. So Conor, this is going to be like the rapid fire buzz around. We try to get through these as best we can, okay? And
yeah, I'll have a go ahead anyway.
So I've been writing down the questions as they've been coming in, so I'll try and bundle them as best I can. So the first question is from Tommy. What electrical supply do I need for the Discovery?
Yeah, so just 16 amp blue plug is what we usually suggest to the farmer. So just it's a normal, just a 16 amp socket. That's all we need.
Good. We didn't mention during the presentations that either an engineer or the sales rep would have gone through with the customer where to put the charging point and what work needs to be done. So that would already agreed. So when the engineer goes to arrive on farm to fit the Discovery, which you can install the standard machine in 1 day, you know what you need to have done before we get there. And then another question from Tommy, Conor, is what size of slope can it handle?
I presume well, the standard collector, Niall, is 6 degrees, and then the collector can handle a little bit less. It's 3 degrees. So in some cases people will be worried about the slope, but sometimes when you go and look at the farm, there's another way to get around the other side of the slope, and you'd be able to clean the shed that way. So it's always, a site visit tells a lot, but 3 for a collector and 6 for a standard Discovery. Yeah.
Okay, 3 for a collector, 6 for a standard Discovery. That's fine. A question from Finton: how many cubicles can one Discovery work in? So I'm guessing, Finton's asking how big of a cubicle shed can a standard Discovery work in?
Yeah, we put. I remember putting one in a big shed. Now it was all slatted, so there was over 200 cubicles. I think it was 240 cubicles it was cleaning. Now it was all slats. So obviously if you had a bit of solid or crossovers or solid, it'd eat up a bit of time, and maybe you'd cover less. But like that was the most I ever done, and it was just all slats and that. So
yeah. No, we would have a good share of guys of well over 200 cubicles, and a standard Discovery. The collector will be a little bit different because it depends on how much slatted area you have and how much solid floor. So we have what we call a capacity calculator. So when we do a site visit, we look at the stocking rate, the number of cubicles, the area slats, and the area that's solid, and we can tell you then which machine would best suit your needs. A question from David Connor: how do you control the Discovery?
So the Discovery is just controlled by an app on the phone. It's just Lely controlled. So you have your time paths. You can set your time paths, what time you want to do routes and what time you don't want to do routes. If you want to stop it when you're agitating, just go into the app and stop it. And then obviously if it gets lost for some reason, if there's an obstruction, you just have to go into your app and you just manually drive it back to the charger then.
Okay.
But it's all on the app, yeah.
All on an app on your phone. The older models, because there's a question here, another question from, it's Derek. How many years did the Discovery in the market? The Lely Discovery was actually launched in 2005, and I think there's machines in the north since 2005. But at that time, there's a little handheld controller with a wire, and we still have some of them, Connor, in the market that we're looking after.
No, we do. We have plenty of them with D-Link. You can upgrade them to Bluetooth, but the D-Link ones don't give bother, and it's just the same principle. You have, instead of your phone, you just have a handheld device and you're just following around instead of using the phone. So
yeah,
it's the exact same layout.
Oh, you can upgrade it. I didn't even know that myself.
Well, there you are.
So yeah, Derek, the Discovery's in the market since 2005. So what's that? 16 years now. A question from Evan Connor: what do most farmers have to change to get ready for a Discovery?
Yeah, mostly, Niall, it's just so all your gates have to be a minimum of 600 mil high, so the Discovery can get under them and there's no obstructions. I mean, if you wanted it to do under your drinkers, you'd have to lift them up to 600 as well. Maybe at the end of a passageway, if it was going outside or something, we'd need a bump stop, which would be just like a 6x3 timber, just so you can bump off as a reference point. And if you didn't want it to go outside a certain area, you could just put down a 6x3 timber either, and it's just acts as a boundary for it. So every farm is different, but obviously when you'd be there, you'd be telling them what they could and couldn't do.
A question from Cahill: can a Discovery operate off 2 charging points to increase its scraping area?
But presume he's on about a standard Discovery, but I don't see how that had increase the area that you could do now. I do know we have a couple of them that go from shed to shed, but it always starts and finishes at the same charger. I would just say no to that question, because I'm not saying it's not possible, but I can see how it had increased the area now. And it'd just be confusing for routing and then for time paths as well. It only cause confusion.
One of the reasons Connor is a good engineer is he likes things to be reliable, so he would be conservative, but we haven't done that before, so I'm guessing we haven't done it because it's no better than having a single charger.
I can't see any benefit to it anyway.
I have a question here from Jim asking me to explain the finance offer. Jim, there's numerous ways of financing any of the Lely products. Originally, when we started in business in Lely Mullingar in 2012, it was mainly DLL, Delaga Landon, as our asset finance partner, and they're still a tremendous partner. So you can hire purchase all the Lely products. You can have robots over 10 years. You can have other products over 5 years. So there's great options there. But if a person is drawing down the TAMS grant, they normally get a term loan off their bank. So the €5.70 or the €4, depending on what grant you're eligible for, what that was the net amount, the price net of the grant over 5 years. Some clients put them over 1 year, some clients put them over 5 years, but the €5.70 was a 5-year figure, and the €4 was if you're getting the 60% grant, if you're qualified as a young farmer. If you're not drawing down any grants, you can hire purchase it, no problem. For the grant, you need to be sure that you have no internal agitation points. So sometimes if internal agitation points in the cell in your shed, maybe you might be eligible for the TAMS grant. We're not sure if there's going to be grants next year. So as I said in the presentation, if you're considering investing in any of these farm automation type products, I would suggest get an application in this year, and at least it's there if you decide to proceed, because you know it's a considerable sum of money. It's a very good grant. It's been great for helping people improve their situation, improve their means of farming, and reducing the labour burden on their farms. Another question from Carl: have you any second-hand machines? That does happen from time to time, not that often. You heard Mervyn there, he has his in almost 9 years. It's working as good as the day it went in. If you wanted to trade it in, we'd be delighted to trade it in, and we'd find a home for it quite easily. Some of Connor's colleagues would recondition them here in Mullingar, and we'd put them out and we'd stand over them. So yeah, look, it is an option. It doesn't happen that often, but it does happen from time to time. But if you're interested in a second hand, you know, we'd put you on the list, and once one came in, we'd make you aware of it. A question from David: how does the collector deal with bits of silage or straw on scraper passage?
Yeah, well, you'd always have bits and pieces pulled in, David. Depends, like if it was through the diet feeder and it'd be chopped, like there'd be no bother. When it goes back to its dump station, when it's filling up with water, it's inclined to push all them bits out into the hole there. There's not much bother. The straw, obviously, if it was long and if there was a lot of it, I wouldn't like it. But what we've done in the past was, if there was an area of bedding coming out to the feed fence, we just put like a curb or a piece of timber down, just to, you know, when she'd kick it, I'd get rid of the most of it. So it'll handle a certain amount of it. Yeah.
Very good. A question from Garrett. Sorry, I'm backtracking a little bit, only after coming in. Can the Discovery work around grazeway gates outside on solid floors?
Well, solid floors, depending on how much they are, a collector might be the better solution there. But we have collectors working around grazeways. What we need to do sometimes is put down a couple of timbers, you know, to square it up. And then obviously where the cows are walking through, we'd leave a gap for them so they wouldn't be stepping over the timber. But no, we can send on videos of collectors working around grazeways, and if it was a Discovery, you see, you'd need to have a tank fairly close by it. You know, it just depends how much solid is there, you know.
Can the collector, this is from Julie, can the collector navigate over a small step down from solid cubicles down to slats?
Well, so we just have to go back to the 3% fall. So if there was a step there, what lads would usually do is they'd ramp it down. Or else if they didn't like that idea, they'd ramp it down on one side. So the collector is 1.2 meters wide, so they might just make a ramp maybe 1.5 meters wide just to get it down. So 3% is that I just have to work it out. Like I need to know the depth of the step, and then I'd know how far she'd have to ramp it. So she can text us in there and we can find out or whatever.
Again, Julie, it might need a site visit, and we don't mind coming on farm to assess a farm. There's no obligation to have a look and a conversation, maybe price the job up. So just because you inquire, you know, obviously you're not obliged to do anything, but sometimes you just need to get on farm to see what'll work. But what we do, and we did it a good bit during COVID, is clients would have sent us in videos of the yards and setups, and we look at the video, and to be fair, if that worked quite well. You can see a lot if you take your time in recording it and a bit of an explanation. Sometimes you can make a judgment just by getting a WhatsApp of a video. So look, that's an option too. If you we'll have contact details up at the end. So if you want to or call the office and send in a video, we can give you a very quick estimation of whether we think it'll work or not. Connor, I think that's the most of the questions. There's a lot of similar questions asked, but I think we've answered. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. I also want to thank Derek O'Halloran, Dennis Condon, Mervyn Glendenning for their testimonials and for giving up at their time. These guys didn't get much notice. Mervyn was called maybe half an hour before we started recording, so fair play to him. We were going somewhere else and it fell through, and he took the call, and fair play to him, appreciate that. I also want to thank William Conlon for putting everything together, and he's our own in-house Stephen Spielberg, so really appreciate his efforts, and Sean Callan as part of the backroom team and helping coordinate everything. So appreciate your time, appreciate your attention. If anyone wants any further information, if you just call the office here in Mullingar, Lely Center Mullingar, we'd be delighted to talk to you, and we look forward to meeting you sometime in the future. Thank you very much.